England has stood on Scotland for far too long, plundering and killing everyone. When will we be free from this tyranny? The Dress Act, they did say we're taking your tartan away. The Act of the Union has been such a blow. 300 years under Westminster foe. Scottish resistance I will always be. Scottish resistance, it's my destiny. The family clan, I will wear my tartan. Our heritage runs through our veins, we'll pass it on to our bands. We are in pain and are suffering. This global pandemic is killing me and my family. The corporate giant is giving me minimum wage. My dignity's gone and I'm sitting here lost again. We are told what to do and where to go, who to see by our own society. Scottish resistance I will always be. Scottish resistance, it's my destiny. Family clan, I will wear my tartan. Our heritage runs through our veins, and we'll pass it on to our bands. Rob the poor, feed the rich. Well, isn't life such a bitch? How can we live this way? The Tories are here to stay. My Scottish pride, I need to decide my ancestors' pain. For my gain, I should hang my head in shame. We are to blame to let Westminster rule our brain. Scottish resistance I will always be. Scottish resistance, it's my destiny. The family clan, I will wear my tartan. Our heritage runs through our veins, we'll pass it on to our bands.
Good evening, everyone. This is the Scottish Resistance Chat Show live from the Scottish Resistance community page on the 18th of July 2022. First of all, I want to welcome everybody watching to the show. Let me go by names that I see now. Lillian Evans, Alex Adam, Nancy MacGyver. Well, I see Anita too, but she's on the show. So, and then Stuart, Cram. Well, somebody on the panel might know that person. I don't know. Keith Brown, George Neve, and those are the names that I can see at this point. Stephen Kelly just joined. Hi, Stephen.
Yeah.
And let me introduce the panel to you. We got quite a full set of panel members, 5 this week. First of all, ladies first. Well, first of all, let me say, James and Thomas couldn't make it this week, and usually we have this week in history that James does, but we're going to do something different. We're going to do a history part, but something different. I'll mention that when we come to it. And Thomas, 3rd week in a row. Sorry that you can't make it, mate, but yeah, if you have an employer that wants you to work the evening shifts, what are you going to do? Well, let me introduce the panel to you. First of all, somebody that has been on the show one time before, I think, and let me welcome her back. And that's Suzanne, Henderson, Cram. How you doing?
Hi, Raimond. How you doing?
Doing great, Great having you on again. And then we got 2 regulars to the show. Basically, no introduction, but I'm still gonna. Wendy MacDonald, how you doing?
Hi everybody. Nice to see you and nice to be on again.
And great having you on again. And Anita King, how you doing?
I'm good, Raimond. Thanks. How are you?
Doing good. By the way, Wendy, we are outnumbered.
Hi.
There are three persons with Salvo shirts on, and we don't have one on. So, oh well, what are you gonna do?
Supposed to be one in the making, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll get one soon enough. We'll get one soon enough. Well, let me start the show then. First topic. One of the weirdest, sickest things that I've seen in quite a while, and that's saying something when you think about the Tory government. The ALBA MP is being kicked out of Parliament and then suspended as well. The pure hatred in the eyes of the speaker. That was even worse than them being kicked out, I think. Really awful to see that, and I just can't think how can they get away with that as well. Anita.
Oh, I thought it was brilliant. What they did was brilliant.
Yeah, what they did was brilliant, of course. Yeah.
The speaker was that angry he couldn't get his words out.
He didn't even know what the names were. He didn't even know what the names were. He had to ask.
The names.
Yeah.
But anyway, what they did was brilliant. I was at the ALBA book launch at St Andrews last Friday night there, and Alex Salmond was telling his MPs that they should be starting disrupting Westminster. So they did it.
Definitely.
So I believe we'll see a lot more of this come in.
Well, come to think of it, the whole Tory benches, all of the Tory benches are disrupting the government at any time, any chance they get. I mean, why not join in the fun, right?
Yeah.
Wendy, what's your thought when you saw that?
I was actually in the garden at the time, and a friend had messaged me, and she says to me, "Well done, Kenny and Neil." And I was like, what's happened? So then I messaged Dave, and I was like, what's happened? And he sent me a link, and I was like, brilliant. Every single one of them should walk out. And it was terrible the way the speaker was speaking to them. Didn't even know their names, didn't have a clue. And I'm sorry if folk don't like what I'm going to say here, but see when we have ones on my own side sitting, jeering and sneering at the 2 ALBA members getting put out, I think they should have walked out with them. I don't know if you know that as Kenny was walking out, he turned around and says to them, and who would be a traitor's knave?
Yes.
And
They did,
he
yeah.
walked out, and we should have walked out of there a long time ago. We should have. So I support them 100%. And Angus Robertson done it a long time ago as well. And folk were saying, aye, Alba just done it for the effect. But they forgot that Angus done it. But everyone, they should stand in solidarity together because it's for Scotland. They should all walk out together and no go back.
Well, normally I'm very mild towards things the SNP do or don't do, really. I mean, I'm open to everything, but when you looked at Neil and Kenny stood up in support of some stuff that the SNP said, and then they get this reaction, or no reaction really. I mean, like you said, they should have stood up and walked out. They should have done a Sinn They should have done a Sinn Féin.
They should have stood together and see at the end of the day, I'm still going to work with the SNP if I need to help achieve what we need to do.
Definitely.
We should stand in together more, so we should.
Definitely.
Definitely.
I mean, they experienced it themselves. I mean, they walked out. What was it? About a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, even.
Oh, it was
When they-
longer
I
than
don't even remember.
That was just a gesture. That was a gesture. Because he walked back in soon after it.
I know, exactly. But still,
They've no respect for us down there at all, so why the hell are we pandering to them?
Well,
Exactly.
Nicholas said as long as we are still part of the United Kingdom government, she won't protest and they won't walk out, right? She did say that. But one thing I did spot, did you notice the BBC cameras just focused on the speaker? They never once turned to see what the chaos was.
yeah.
They never once turned. And Boris Johnson waving them down as if they were bloody parasites.
But what you said, Wendy, about she said that Nicola said that she wouldn't have them walk out as long as we're, Scotland's part of the UK government or the Parliament. I mean, sorry, but how many times didn't the Tory benches empty when the SNP people started to speak?
Oh, they just walk out.
Exactly. So
No
what the hell?
respect.
No, exactly.
They just walk out. Yeah. I better keep my private thoughts private at the moment. I'm trying to take Big Peter Bell's advice to me. John, calm it down. I can't fucking calm it down. Sorry for swearing. Because we're being shat upon from a height. It's racism at its worst.
And we're allowing it.
And we're allowing it. Racism at its worst. You know what angers them? They actually believe that we are trying to take their property from them. We're trying to take Scotland from them because they believe it's theirs.
Yep.
You see? And that's what it is.
Definitely. Your thoughts, Suzanne?
Well, I thought Lindsay Hoy was going to burst a blood vessel.
Definitely, yeah.
It was quite entertaining, but the look of disdain. And it's reserved only for the Scots in Westminster. Never once have I saw Lindsay Hoy speaking to any of the Tories like that, or Labour, or Lib Dems, or anybody else.
And that was brilliant about the former speaker. He even called out Boris
John
at one point.
Berkov.
Yeah.
Berkov was fairer, let's say.
Yeah, he was.
Definitely.
He hates Boris Johnson with a vengeance.
Oh, hell yeah.
But he didn't at one point, though, did he?
What's that?
He didn't always hate Boris, so at one point, did he?
No, but people tend to open their eyes at some point. And I guess that's what he did.
That's what we're all doing.
There probably is some decent Tories that they actually think they're decent, right? But when it comes to Scotland, they behave like rabid dogs.
Mhm.
You know, Jacob Rees-Mogg is a far right-wing Catholic. That's what he is. A far right-wing, extreme right-wing Catholic. But he's a rat. Right.
But listen,
But he
there is
believes
stories for yes. There
that
is
he's a
stories
true
for yes.
Christian.
There is
Yeah.
stories for yes, John.
No, there is.
I didn't
Yeah.
know if somebody was taking the piss when I get told that, but apparently it's true.
What's that,
I think
Wendy?
they've got a Facebook page and everything.
There's
Yeah.
stories for yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, there are people that basically, and that's what every party, they believe in the vision, but not in how they go about it.
No,
Probably
no.
something like that.
Mm.
But how long is this suspension for? By the way, I didn't. What's that?
It's 5 working days.
5 working days. All right.
I
So
believe
that's-
they'll do it again.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, they will. They've been told to cause as much disruption as they possibly can.
Until they
But
shame the
other Scottish
SNP
MPs doing the same.
to standing next to them.
Yeah.
I
Until
don't
they
think
shame
they'll do
them.
that. I don't think they'll do that. Considering these two MPs were standing up to challenge the oppressor of Scotland, and the other Scots in the room didn't stand with them, it kind of said it
No,
all.
they never.
Yeah.
No. That would have been their order from
It's a
Nicola.
sad state of affairs, that, isn't it? It really is a sad state
It's
of affairs.
actually, it's very embarrassing for us Scots
It
and
is.
for Raimond, for people that watching it, that were still bloody cat and hand servile to a bunch of
Yeah, but
bastard
a
colonialists.
good thing about this that it does get out and it does get on international TV. I
Yeah.
mean, we've seen it here as well.
Oh,
So
did you? Good.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And maybe that's one of the reasons that Alex has told him
Yes.
to do that.
It is.
Yeah.
It's to get that out there. I mean, it is filmed, it is live. There's nothing that can change that. So it's a blessing in disguise, maybe.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, Neil and Kenny, what they were trying to do was to get a point of law across.
Not
Just to
that
get a
you
point.
because every video that's on YouTube, you just see Lindsay Hoy. You don't hear the original question.
So,
No. So what was she doing? What was Lindsay doing?
Lindsay Hoy was the speaker.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It looks like a fanny, but he is a he.
Oh, is that his name? I never knew that was his name. He sounds very much like a northerner.
yes.
You know, his dialect.
Uh-huh.
But he proved that he cannot control himself. That he's not fit to be a speaker, to be honest with you.
Do you remember that cartoon for years ago, Stressed Eric?
Yeah.
And he had to pulsate. That's what it was like.
Yeah.
He didn't know, he just doesn't have interest in the Scottish MPs in there.
Oh, no.
Tell me something. What is the job of the speaker? Is it not to maintain control of the House? And when there's vain Tories screaming over the top of everybody that's in the room,
Slap
what
him.
is the point in the speaker?
Exactly.
If he had rabies, half of the people in front of him would have caught rabies by now. Because he was slapping all over the place.
Mhm. Oh, he was. Oh, it was gone daft. It was like a man possessed.
They were unbelievable.
Exorcist.
Yeah.
Exorcist. Jacob Rees-Mogg's an extreme right-wing religious person. He could maybe perform an exorcism on him live on television and sick bastard and
Well,
pins in his eyes.
then again, he might think it's pretty normal.
Yeah,
so
probably.
He doesn't even notice it anymore.
No. If there's anyone hates Scotland, nobody hates us as much as Mogg. Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Well, the feeling's mutual, so
Yeah.
Of course it is. Of course. The only thing is he can't explain why he hates us. But we can explain why we hate them.
you know
And
what? They're all a bunch of self-centered, greedy, filthy, corrupt animals. That's
Yeah.
all they are. I fucking hate every single one
Oh,
of them.
they're not one I can think. And a lot of the Labour ones as well.
Just horrible, dirty, fucking. Sorry about all the swearing. I'm off on holiday. I can swear.
Yeah, go for it.
Call
As
Daniel
long as
to
you
borrow the
don't-
swear jar.
As long as you don't start behaving like that speaker, Wendy.
No, I'll not swear. I'll not start spitting in everything. It's just
No.
the mention of them that makes me flaming swear. They just make me so angry. I
Well,
can't
we
swear.
all agree. We totally
I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you. Definitely. Definitely.
And see the wokey snowflake to come out and condemn Kenny and Neil. I'd love to know who they are. A lot of the names that come up, I say, I don't recognise you. You've got 5 followers, you know. I said, you just I'll play about with you for a couple of hours, then I'll block you. And that's what I do with them. The bulk of the majority of people loved it.
John, see the cheek I was getting, I had posted the ALBA Perth event, and I don't really give a toss. See when they come on to my posts, my comments in the start, I'm like, you fucking dancer.
Aye.
I'm bored tonight. I'll sit and enjoy myself for a wee while here.
Yeah,
See the abuse I was getting. And then, so one of my friends, it's actually our friend, she posted a picture of Alex Salmon, and the comments on it was her and Alex at the Perth, and the comments on it were, aye, ALBA, aye, the start of this trouble, and it was them that was fucking saying it, no ALBA member, so I just went on and commented, that's a cracking photo. It's them that keep the victim going, but it's coming for the top, but we need to be bigger than the top. If they can't behave themselves in a proper manner and work together, well, we need to, as the Yes movement, like we did before in 2014.
They're
Exactly.
they're the very ones that will turn around and say they're patriots.
Mm-hmm.
They're the very one. They
I
don't
do-
know what that means.
I do see quite a bit of a change, but we're going to talk about that in the third topic. I'll come back to that later. I do want to move on, and the next topic is the week in history. Normally, it still is, but not like we.
Sing a song.
No, if you want to, but no, no. But the week in history is not going to be done like we normally do because James not here, and hardly anybody is as knowledgeable as about history than James is. So I'm not going to even attempt to do that. But the Scottish Association did a event this past Sunday, I believe it was, and we made a video of it. And what we're going to do is play that video. And it was, hold on, let me get the name of the rally. Because I'm horrible at remembering stuff like that.
Bell of the Braves.
Yeah, Bella de Brace. Yeah, and that's what they remembered at that event. And what we're going to do is play the video. It's about 3.5 minutes long, and you'll see James explaining what happened and what they're remembering, basically. So here we go.
We're here today to remember William Wallace. In July of 1297, William Wallace and his men come up what is now the High Street. At that time it was just a rocky slope. This was a big hill, and Glasgow Castle stood where that hospital is. That's where Glasgow Castle stood. Now that building over there, the cathedral, that is the oldest building in Glasgow. That goes away back to the time of William Wallace. And William Wallace used to meet in there Bishop Robert Wishart. Bishop Robert Wishart helped William Wallace, and he also helped Robert the Bruce. Now, if you go into the cathedral and go down to the crypt, the tomb of this great Scottish patriot is actually down in the crypt. Bishop Robert Wishart. He was the Bishop of Glasgow at the times of the Scottish Wars of Independence. Now, not only was he a bishop, He used to don battle armour and take part in battles, fighting alongside William Wallace and later on Robert the Bruce. What a great patriot, and it's fantastic that he's actually buried within the cathedral here in Glasgow. Now what happened way back in 1297, July 1297, a great castle stood there, Glasgow Castle. It's all gone now, it's now a hospital. But what happened was Wallace split his army into two. He brought the 1st Division of the army up what is now the High Street, a rocky slope away back there at July 1297. The 2nd Division of the Scottish Army was led by his uncle, who was Adam Wallace. Now, what happened is that William Wallace's division, came here first and took part in a great battle out here with the English. And it was neck and neck, really, 50-50 for a while. But then the 2nd Division of Scots, led by his uncle, Adam Wallace, come up from what is now known as the Drygate. And once the English saw this other division, they thought it was a massive army, so they fled. And William Wallace retook Glasgow Castle. Fantastic piece of history. Now later on, William Wallace was captured. He was captured in 1305, and he was taken down to London and Westminster, and he was put on trial where he was allowed no defence. I'll tell you something, folks, British justice hasn't changed all that much. It's terrible. He was allowed no defence, so he was actually sentenced to death down in Westminster. And what he said was, how can I be a traitor when England is foreign to me? After the so-called kangaroo court had made their decision, Wallace was stripped naked, he was put on a stretcher, and for 6 miles he was carried through the streets of London to eventually went to Smithfield in London. And at Smithfield in London, William Wallace was hung, drawn and quartered. And
All right, and we're back. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Next week, we're going to have a regular week in history, and James will be back for that, of course. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let's move on to the next topic, and that's the claim of rights and the Salvo launch a couple of weeks ago. Let's first start with people that were actually there. And were you all three of you? Were you there, by the way?
Yeah.
All four of you, by the way? I know
I
John
wasn't
was.
there.
Oh, you weren't
I
there.
was there, yeah.
Yeah. Anita.
Well, it was great.
Yeah, incredible.
It was absolutely fantastic. There was great speakers there. We had Laurie Flynn, we had Craig Murray, we had Sarah Salyers, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and we had Alf Baird zoomed in, and
Dave
Ian Lawson was there.
And he was
And his
brilliant.
speech was fantastic, by the way.
It was David Henry.
was.
Dave Henry.
David Henry was there as well. But,
Yeah,
um,
that speech was incredible. I mean, it was very inspirational from Ian Lawson.
Ian Lawson, it was indeed.
Yeah, it was Estonia, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
how people
I lived in
how
Estonia.
people linked arms right across the country. And the
Yeah.
United Nations gave them backing also. Also, they had a very strong political party, patriotic political party, and they moved all the way to independence. You see, with their party driving them on.
Definitely.
That's what Ian was saying also.
But the change that I was talking about earlier, that I see, especially online, but basically it was shown at the Salvo launch as well. There were people there from all sides of the political spectrum.
Yes.
SNP members.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
if that can happen at something like that, basically let's call it, for argument's sake, a plan B or C, whatever, a different route to independence.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That if we are all can get around it and just talk about it. I mean, I personally think the claim rights is the way to go for that. But I don't expect everybody to feel the same way, but we can at least be civil towards each other and talk about it. And that showed at that meeting. It really did. It was just very good to see. It's very good to see all people from all walks of life and all kinds of political backgrounds to be there.
Sadly, people need to start thinking for themselves, Raymond,
Exactly.
and not listen to the political leader,
Exactly.
SNP member, whatever. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. No, exactly.
It's a free world. You get out there and there were loads of SNP.
I would say the exact same thing if Alex Salmon told us to. You cannot
Very
do this.
much.
Exactly the same thing.
But he wouldn't say
I
that.
know he wouldn't. I know he wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, but
Sadly, there's a person does say it, and I don't know what fear people have got over it, or anyone in the political movement. You just say, well, look, I'm a free spirit. I will say what I want to say, and I don't care really who I'm siding with, because I know these people at that Salvo launch were good, intelligent. There were professors there. There was a World in Action guy that won so many awards. There was Craig Murray, you know Craig, David Henry. So the most intelligent people you could ever deal with. We have Baird.
Oh,
no,
we had a couple of weeks ago. We had Alf on our branch meeting for ALBA International, and he was just amazing there as well. And just to let you guys know, on this Wednesday, we're going to have him on the People's International Chat Show as well. He's going to be a panel member there.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys will enjoy that. But I mean, the amount of knowledge that's shown there, that's just, there's always going to, no matter how many times you see them, you're always going to learn something new. I mean, I've seen Sarah speak. Sarah, she's just a class act. She really is. I mean, first time I saw her and heard of her was at the spring conference, ALBA spring conference. That was just amazing. I mean, she basically spoke in favor of the remit back, I think it was, of the topic that was there, and that was kicked out, but she was the one getting the standing ovation.
What Raymond, what people have got to keep remember is this: you get the professors, you get Sarah, all the names we've mentioned, and there's loads of more names.
Yeah.
You know, Grouse Peter, Mark Hurst, all professional BBC broadcasters from overseas. But remember, never be humbled, because each one of us has got the experience through wisdom, through your own bitter experiences, are in a different way just as intelligent, just as wise. So these people talk to you, they don't talk down to you.
No.
They talk straight to you because they know you understand, and they understand and respect you. They do not look down upon us like other people do. We're people, we have free thought, and nobody will stop us expressing our free thought.
The atmosphere, for instance, again, going back to the spring conference, the atmosphere that was there was just
incredible.
Amazing. It was just so positive.
Is that the one we were at, Raymond?
Yeah.
It was.
It was just amazing. I mean, it was kind of the same from the SMP conference that I experienced way back, and like the last one I attended live was the 2019 conference, and that was the one where what's his name? No, they got booed off the stage. Yeah, there you go. He was booed off the stage.
Yeah, that's right.
No matter how you think and feel about him, it doesn't matter. He was there as an elected representative of the government.
No one should be booed.
And nobody, and especially people in somebody in a position like that, should not be booed unless you're Tory.
Never, never, never.
But
It was
yeah,
disgusting.
but
But as
getting
soon as unity is the most important thing, Raymond.
exactly,
No matter colour of skin, creed, or religion, or no religion,
or beard length,
unity is a driving force behind this.
definitely, definitely. But getting back to the claim of rights, Anita, can you tell us something what it entails for people that don't know yet?
Well, no, what I would rather talk about is the Salvo website, etc.
All right, cool. Go ahead.
Try and get everybody that's watching to sign up at www.salvo.scot. And they can learn absolutely everything they need to learn on there. And if they can donate, that would be brilliant, because we need money to take this show round the country to learn more and more people. So the more people sign up, the better.
Even the song, Anita, the song that was come up on the screen was great. If you listen to the song, it explains everything in that song.
The video.
The video is brilliant.
I replaced the Scottish Resistance Chat Show text with www.salvo.scot, so it's on there.
Good. Yeah.
And also, you could they have a Salvo page on Facebook. The Twitter is it at Salvo Scot?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I share that one.
Well, just type in Salvo and you'll find it. It will get you to it.
Also, the Facebook group Claim of Rights 1698 has now over 1,700 members. So we need everybody to sign up.
Cool. Yeah.
We need everybody to sign up and get this message out to absolutely everyone.
Definitely. On my YouTube page, RaLei Media, the video of the Salvo launch is on there as well, next to the Facebook page and Twitter account. The video is there. It's also on that YouTube channel. So please, guys, watch the speeches. It's really, really good to watch that. Should definitely do that. Suzanne, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. If they sit back, have the patience to listen to the speeches.
Definitely.
Some people haven't the patience to listen. Just patience is discipline. Discipline yourself to listen. And if you can do that, your eyes will open wider.
Definitely.
At the end of it.
Definitely. Definitely.
And if you can, read all Sarah's papers. I know they're a long, hard read, but they're worth every second of it.
Very much
every
so.
second of it.
Definitely.
Very much so, yeah.
Definitely. Suzanne, what was your experience there at the launch?
The Salvo launch was great. A lot of people from, as you say, different parties, spoke to quite a few. Even spoke to 2 Tories that were interested in Scottish independence on the day. The 7.5-minute speech that Sarah did at the ALBA conference kicked open my door, and people are interested in their history now. The Claim of Right basically sets out the Scottish Constitution that's been lost for years and years, 300 years in total, and it's so different from the English Constitution, and that's probably why it's been buried so long. The Scottish Constitution was based on the common good of the people, so basically the common good
Talking about rabid dogs.
There was an equality between the people and, between the people. So rich or poor, there was an equality involved. And the Constitution said that everybody had equal legal representation, and the common good made sure that basically there were no bloody food banks in Scotland and everybody was taken care of.
Yeah.
So by the time that returned, apparently there was a common good fund, and the common good fund, I think, and I'm just quoting Sarah the other night, basically, I think it was 1% of every tax raised in Scotland went to the Common Good Fund, and that was returned to the people of Scotland to make their life easier, basically, and make sure that they didn't struggle. The difference with the two constitutions is the English constitution rules from Parliament and the Crown down, and the Scottish constitution rules the people above Parliament and the Crown. That's why the two of them cannot work together in harmony, because they're both going in completely different directions. So from the Treaty of Union, we've basically been ruled under the English constitution, which is parliamentary sovereignty. Whereas in Scotland, under the claim of right, it should be popular sovereignty, and the people actually hold the power in Scotland. The problem is that the people don't know the power they've got because it's been hidden from them for so many years. And now Sarah and Salvo are actually, telling the people exactly what they can do. Nicola Sturgeon said for years that the people would decide, and the only way that we're going to get this is if the people decide. I believe she made a speech last week to say that, the sovereignty of Westminster can't take part in the Scottish Constitution or the Scottish claim of right. And since Blackford started talking about the claim of right, and Tommy Shepherd started mentioning I think it was a Convention of the Estates or the People's Assemblies. And basically that's the key to the people taking the power back in their own country. So the Convention of the Estates, made up of the 3 estates, I believe, in Scotland, although I think it should be 4. And then the People's Assemblies, made up of the common people in the various districts across Scotland. And that's what Salvo's looking to set up again. Because these were never outlawed with the Treaty of Union, they were just put on hold. And the people can reignite these People's Assemblies and the Convention of the Estates. Now, the Convention of the Estates basically works as a parliament between, say, the Scottish Parliament or the Westminster Government and the people, and therefore making sure that the common good of the people is what's served, and that governments don't overstep their mark. They don't break the laws of Scotland, of which there are many, and they're all for the people of Scotland rather than the greedy, rich, power-hungry politicians who currently serve us.
Yes.
So, hold on, they don't serve us. They don't serve us.
Sorry.
What's that, Anita?
SNP are not interested in the claim of right. To them, it's irrelevant. But I've replied, because it takes the power away from them.
That's it.
It takes the power back to us. The power they took from the people will return to the people if we use the claim of right.
You know what puzzles me?
It precedes the Act of Union.
Yeah, well, why did they go to the English Supreme Court?
Well, at the end of the day, the English Supreme Court, I don't think...
No jurisdiction.
...on this. And if they didn't want it, they would need to do it under Scots law.
Yeah, that's right.
So under Scots law, no government can take the sovereignty from the people. They can't claim to be above the people because it's a crime in Scotland. High treason, I believe.
Yeah, high treason, yeah. Talking about high treason, that was another breach of the Act of Union in 1820 when they beheaded the radicals in Stirling.
Yeah.
They hung them and beheaded them under English law, which was high treason.
The Scots actually deposed a king who tried to, take the sovereignty of the people of Scotland.
Yeah.
So we did have the power way back then. Scotland was a completely different place when it was an independent sovereign nation before the Treaty of Union. But the Treaty of Union did not remove the claim of right. That was our prenup that if the government removed the claim of right or acted out with the common good of the people of Scotland, that they could be sacked basically by the people.
It just seems a wee bit strange that over the past few weeks, since Sarah spoke at the ALBA conference, that has been mentioned a couple of times with the SNP MPs in Westminster, the claim of right.
Well,
the way they mention it, I don't understand the history of it.
No, Anybody that looked at the response that Sarah Salyers got at the ALBA conference really wants to jump on the coattails of that response.
That's what I thought.
But in order to do it, they really need to know what they're talking about. So it's time they read the Claim of Right.
Maybe
And then
they'll do
realize
it in their holidays.
their place, you know, because it's not above the people.
No.
And this poverty that we are having just now,
And by the
fuel
way,
poverty, energy poverty, in this country that's so rich in energy that, you know, we produce it, we put it on the grid, it costs us a fortune, it gets pumped down to England. They pay less for it than we do when they send it back up and overcharge us for it. How ridiculous is that?
yeah.
Yes.
But funny you should mention the prenup. Sarah made a comparison with the prenup within a marriage, for instance. If those conditions in the prenup are broken, it's null and void.
Yep.
Hello.
Yeah.
Well, the Treaty of Union has been broke on numerous occasions. Evil English votes for English laws broke the Treaty of Union. The Internal Market Bill broke the Treaty of Union. Brexit shattered the Treaty of Union. How long does it take before the Scottish Government stand up and say, you have breached the treaty?
Yeah, it clearly says it's a union of equal partnership. It has never been a union of equal partnership.
No.
Never.
No. Listen, Ireland, when it was run by the British Empire, became the most impoverished country in Europe.
Yeah.
Because they were under the Empire for 800 years. They were controlled by England.
Well, look at India.
Then you had the murderous potato famine, right? But say, in a year, just over a year, we're heading towards becoming the most impoverished country in Europe. And yet we're probably one of the richest countries. We're in a par now with Romania. Sorry about the Romanians. We're in a par, and we're going to be below them as far as poverty is concerned. And you watch when people start getting evicted from their homes. You watch this space and you see little children going to school in the winter with no enough clothes to keep them warm, and coming home and putting a frozen bed, eating beans or soup, and their parents are frightened to use the gas. That's the thing that'll nail the bastards to the cross down there. It's the only thing that'll wake people up. Poverty coming and knocking on your own door.
Definitely. Well, it kind of brings me to the final topic. And it's not really a question, it's more of a statement, really. But the UK is not a democracy. Now, it's stating the obvious, of course. I know. But I know this is going to get into a good discussion, and I know it. But I mean, how can anybody still be convinced that it is a democracy? I mean, you got all the parties. For instance, just take like elections, for instance. But it's always going to be either Tory, Labour. You don't have democracy if you only have a two-party system, really. Yeah, you have other parties. But the focus of the media is just always Tories, Labour. So people are conditioned. They are conditioned to vote either Labour or Tory.
Very much so.
And do you really think that's a democracy, John?
Listen, Raimond, you're from Holland, right? And I'm sure the French people, the German people, you keep coming across for international community, they will just turn and say, God, the UK, they went back into the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
There's no democracy, none at all. It's like these guys are playing like the British Empire again, right?
No, they have never stopped. They've never stopped.
They've never stopped. So our international community will end up playing a big part in this. Along with the United Nations.
Some in that party have actually said they see. They talked about colonialism when they talked about Scotland. So they actually basically admitted that they see us as a colony.
There was a young woman. I don't know if I gave you it, Wendy. The young woman was speaking, I think it was STV, a young English woman, and she get ripped right into them. She was totally behind us, that we are a colony, that they destroyed our democracy. She was absolutely fantastic. There are a hell of a lot of English people really would support us here, you know. There are a hell of a lot of English people that are anti-monarchists as well.
Definitely.
But it was them that wanted Brexit. They wanted Brexit. The majority of them wanted Brexit. We had 62% plus that didn't want it, yet we were dragged out with our shirt tails. Was that democracy?
No.
It was absolutely humiliating for us people. I know Wendy, Anita, and Suzanne, and it said that we had an audience of 100,000 would agree with us. They would agree with us.
Definitely. Wendy, your thoughts?
How can there be
No
democracy?
cursing.
Although I'm not promising.
Get it out,
back
get
to
it out.
I will not. I will not.
I'm glad you've got faith, Raimond. But how can there be democracy when Scotland never gets what it votes for? We're not that much smaller, but there's no democracy here. There's no democracy in Scotland. There's no democracy in Wales or Ireland or England, even for their own. They just laugh at us, they sneer at us. I'm just for getting ready, just leaving. There's no democracy. There's no fairness. They're robbing us. So that's all I can say if you don't want me to swear.
Don't worry about
I
it.
totally agree with you. I don't mind swearing, you know, I'm only letting you out.
No, I know.
I love swearing as an expression.
And when I swear, it's the anger, and it's usually talking about these swines.
And
Well,
swimes is a word.
the funny thing is with Daniel, basically we had this fun idea to because he's the same. He swears a lot too, maybe even more so than you do. But we basically had this idea at one point to introduce a swear jar that he brings along. And basically, what we've kept it going basically, and now we announce him as the swear jar and his friend Daniel. But but basically, what we do is we donate the contents of the swear jar to Independence Life. So
Well, Daniel must have handed over £10,000. I tell you.
no, but
Yeah,
yeah.
Some guy.
See if we had democracy, although I don't believe we should be going asking them anything anyway.
Oh,
I
hell
believe
no.
in the right to do it. We wouldn't need to ask for permission if this was an eco-fucking union.
Exactly my point. Yeah.
You know, see during that period for that Boris Johnson, the shambles that was, and when that was the time for them to walk out like Neil and Kenny done, because the world media were surrounding Westminster. The world media, every one of them should have walked out, and the vast majority of people in Scotland would have had far more respect for them. Far more respect.
Not just that, but it will go worldwide. They will get the attention, they will get the support that they need, and that they need for to get the job done.
The world watching can see that they don't have any respect for Scotland.
No, and a lot of them will watch Westminster. They'll listen to the booing or whatever. You know, should be another gunpowder plot. Yeah.
Democracy. Well, then again,
get the matches still out.
Then again, democracy is a weird concept anyway. But I mean,
yeah,
in any government, you basically get people to vote for, and it's all the same stuff basically. Anyhow, so what are you gonna do? Most of the time, there's always exceptions to the rule, of course.
The democracy is dead, Raimond.
Yeah.
It's dying. Yeah. It's up to us to restore our own democracy.
Yeah, take a look at the US. It's always been a two-party system. There is no democracy there. You always have either one or the two, and they always fight each other. What's that?
It's time that people stood up now and rose.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Totally agree.
Very much so. And I'm hoping that come September, I think George Square, Freedom Square, will be bursting at the seams
I think so.
for the rally.
Yeah.
For the rally, and there'll be other stuff organised. But we're just hoping that the SNP, are they away on holiday now? Anita, are they on holiday? The SNP?
Yeah.
Oh, the whole governments, I think. Both governments on recess. Or
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, well,
I think it's when they come back for holiday, they're starting the independence campaign.
Are they?
Well, they need to be
Well,
starting.
she needs to be rested.
We never stopped since 2014.
Surely they're going to start it soon.
What you said, John,
Yeah.
we never stopped, and that's what I've been saying all along. I mean, they say, well, they need to get the campaign started. I said, hell no, they just need to jump back on board.
Again, jumping board, it's, right now it's crucial.
Yeah.
It's crucial that she she has some up her sleeve to prove to even her own members that she's serious. They don't have to prove to us. We do it our own way.
I have to laugh when they do say, right, it's time to get started. It's like you said, they've never been stopped.
No, exactly my
Thank
point.
you, all the marches.
Exactly my point. I mean, they basically just had to jump back on board. That's all it was to it, basically.
Yeah, they can jump on our train. Because
Exactly.
I'll not be going on their train. I'm with
The
the
bus.
people.
The bus, by the way.
The bus.
Wasn't a train, it was a
buses
bus. The yellow bus.
buses and trains.
The yellow bus.
I'm with the people.
Yeah.
And I'll always remain that way. I'm obviously I'm a member of the ALBA party.
I just
and I
Stephen
joined Salvo.
Stephen Kelly just said back the 2nd of September Parliament is so.
Is
So
it?
yeah, they continue on September 2nd.
Right. Let's hope they can set the head on fire then. Huh?
I hope so. Definitely.
Well, we've set it. There's no heather left in Scotland. You think about all the places we travelled, Wendy, Inverness and beyond. Thousands of us ignored by the party in power, obviously, but who cares?
And we're still here.
We're still
And
here.
we'll always
still
be
here.
here until the
Yeah.
job's done.
Definitely.
And it's
Well-
exploring all avenues, and that was a great thing. I hadn't been to the Salvo event, but that was a great thing about it. It was all different people coming together, folk
Exactly.
apart, some of money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's about working together and exploring every avenue that we can possibly take.
Then during the Salvo, when Alf Baird went, Anita, wasn't it? I think he was broadcasting from Edinburgh, from Orkney.
Orkney.
Aye, and I asked a question about the United Nations, and Alf says, "Look, even I'm surprised they've never approached the United Nations. The
Yeah.
United Nations would back us."
Yeah.
So then maybe we should
the
get some up our sleeve.
decolonisation process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we should get some up our sleeve. Maybe she's gonna. Yeah.
By the way, I got 2 comments on the chat. First, again, from Stephen Kelly, and the rotten waste monster back on September 5th. So that's 3 days later even. But I got a comment from Patricia Clint. We are slaves to the economic needs of a greedy neighbor whose greed will never be satisfied. I think that sums it up. It completely sums it up.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Very good.
It really does.
Yeah.
All right, we've come to the end of the show. We still have 4 minutes before the hour, but still we still have to go through the final comments. So, John, your final comments for tonight.
Final comment again. I've enjoyed it again. Enjoyed my 3 biological female comrades. Love being on. And thanks again, Raimond.
Great having you on, always, mate.
We'll always be here. But I know Suzanne says leave that picture, that paint in my will for her. I hope that's in 10 years' time.
Thank you, mate.
Stick together, solidarity, unite. No matter what colour, what creed, what language you speak, we're one big family.
Or beard length.
Go ahead and decolonise our country.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Anita, your final comments.
Just for everybody to get on board with the Claim a Right, go to salvo.scot, join up.
Yeah.
And one last thing, we should hear a new chant while we're out marching. And that
Will
chant
be.
should be, "Nae mere shite, use the Claim a Right."
And there you go. There you go. Suzanne, your final comments.
Just before my final comment, when you talk about democracy, if democracy was intended for Scotland or the UK in any way, shape or form, there would be equal representation of the four nations in Westminster, rather than 80-odd majorities by one party.
Yeah.
And I'll know you go on to where the English Parliament is, because there doesn't seem to be one. But final comments. Thank you for having me on again.
Great having you on.
Salvo, regardless of what party you follow, because we are a non-party organisation. We'll go and speak at anybody's event, including SNP, SSP, ALBA, or anybody else that wants to discuss independence and the Claim a Right. Join Salvo.
We're heading that way. Yeah.
Definitely.
Heading that way. Yeah.
Thank you, Suzanne. Wendy, your final comments.
Just the same again, promoting unity, and what I was saying earlier on about my friend's picture, Alex Salmond, online, and then people started coming on and having a go at ALBA folk when they hadn't even said anything. Just stop saying things altogether, and then it stops the arguing and rise above it. I mean, is the goal not greater? And thanks very much for having me on, Raimond.
It tells you people can rise above everything.
Definitely. Great point, mate. Great point. Well, before I do my final comments, comment by Ian Middleton. Raimond, you need a beard. Well, we got one beard. We got one beard of knowledge is enough, I think, on the show. But my final comments, what else needs to be said? Unity is key in this fight for independence. That's definitely the case. A good thing that have seen is that more and more people, again, from any side of the political spectrum, aren't taking any crap anymore on Facebook. For instance, I've seen posts where people that used to, and it doesn't matter, from any party, whether being ALBA, SMP, whatever. I've seen people that used to jump on a discussion. People somebody baits somebody, and people just jump on each other. More and more people say, cut the divisive crap.
Yeah.
And more people are doing that. So I'm really hopeful that, and we see that at events. We see that at the Salvo launch. People join together for the common goal, and that is what needs to happen. And for the true final comment, quoting James, of course, who can be here. This is the Scottish resistance. We will never give up the fight for Scottish freedom. Good night, everyone.
Raimond, you should say that in Dutch sometime.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Good night, folks.
Good night, Raimond. Thanks a lot.